of Health to ensure that they protect the public from disease and that when they introduce a drug, that drug is, as much as possible, almost totally safe. There will be mistakes, but at least it will not create the kind of panic and the kind of hysteria. Especially now, pagkatapos sila sabihin, swipe yan, biglang binawi ng Sanofi, ay, sandali, meron palang kakulangan itong gamot na ito. Yung ibibigay ito sa zero negative. Eh, di lalo talagang mukhang hindi nagawa yung dapat na due diligence. Tama ba yan?
No, due diligence, Your Honor, has always to be followed, even if it were in the clinic room or in
my
the
question. Oh, ayan na nga eh. Sabi mo, clinical medicine is different from public medicine. Do you agree with that?
I think his reference is to, the same diligence to, to whether the public or the private patient.
Ano una ng doktor? First, do no
harm.
Correct.
It's the same principle, Your Honor.
It's the same for everybody.
That's
what I meant
Pero
in that email.
mass casualty sa kwan. Kung mag-immunization ka, you mean to tell me the degree of diligence will be less? Can you please speak up on the microphone?
It should be the same. I mean, whether one patient...
President, sinama niyo rito, ha? B, how is this different public health application where DOH is the doctor? Paano napasok ang presidente rito?
Your Honor,
At bakit mo palagi sinasabi, may political decision na? At ngayon, ito na naman ang presidente.
May I be allowed to clarify, Your Honor? The first statement on political decision was referring to a budget allocation. There was no pressure or order for anybody to procure and
then
use
why did you have to say this?
This one was in preparation for a possible question that might be asked of our secretary at that time, in preparation for the February 3, just in case. So I had to put that in order to answer a simple question. Maybe I don't have to put that in, but that's the question that we all have to ask.
January 27 in 1 year, 2 beses nag-meeting. At sunod na yung mabilis na takbo, nakapagparilis na ng pera. Wala ba akong kilalang congressman na senador na isang kisap mata nakapagparilis ng 3.5 bilyon? 3.5 bilyon sa isang kisap mata nakapagparilis ng pera. Sana binigay na lang sa PGH yan, nadagdagan pa yung mga kwarto na, nadagdagan pa yung gamit. 3 bilyon kalahati sa isang gamot na hindi natin kailangan because hindi nasa top 10. Not our priority. PGH should get all kinds of medicine, right? All kinds of people. Would you say that dengue is palaging priority sa... Of course, any disease, you have to take action. Pero kung maglalagay ka ng pera, ilalagay mo yung pera doon sa priority. How dare you tell me na sasabihin mo, kailangan sagutin ni Presidente, matagal na, 2 taon nyo na tinatrabaho ito eh. 2 taon na bumibilis ang takbo nitong gamot na ito. You have been interfering, pati doon sa na-shock sila, nasabihin mo, wala na kayong magagawa dyan. There's a political decision made already. And then pati ito ngayon, sasabihin mo, the President suddenly, kukut mo. Bakit? Representative ka ba ng Presidente? So I have for you. Really sad for us. When our DOH drops the ball on protecting the public. This is what this investigation is all about. Kaya kami nagtsatsaga, nag-hear everything possible to where the system failed. I'm not after Dr. Garin. I'm not after anybody. I just want to make sure that the system is good. Dr. Ona, I'll just go back to you again. We're almost done, hopefully. Hopefully. Hintayin lang natin yung sa susunod. But I want to know the action of the DOH on how we can get this further sa lalong madaling panahon dahil marami nag-iiyak. Ayun ayaw namin nakikita na nagwawala ang mga tao, na halos manakit na. Di tama yan. Let me ask Dr. Ona now. In your last year, sa inyo, hindi kayo kasama ni President Aquino. at sinabi ni President Aquino, hindi niya na matandaan. I'm not after President Aquino, but something like that should be remembered by a president if you're in China for APEC. Hindi ko maintindihan niya kung bakit. Sabi niyo, at that time, if you look at the timeline, can I have the timeline, please? Ang timeline ninyo, on November 14, nag-meet ang presidente sa China. Tama po ba yan?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Okay. Na kayo, nag-leave kayo on October 20,
Around the time, Your Honor.
October 28. Secretary Ona went on a medical leave on October 28, allegedly due to his personal health issues. And Secretary Rin took over as OIC.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And you said here, tinanong ko kayo, may tampuhan ba kayo? Ba't kayo bigla mag-leave? You're such a very qualified person, suddenly mag-leave kayo.
I have answered that before, Your Honor.
I want you to clarify that answer, Dr. Ona, and I want you to be very candid because this is important. Because kung ano pumapasok sa isip ko. Kasi again, if you look at the way it happened, you were asked to take, you took a leave of absence. I'm sorry, you took a leave of absence on the 28th. 2 weeks later, on November 14, they're talking to Sanofi. The president is talking to Sanofi. And you said you are not going to recommend Sanofi. Correct?
Hindi ho pa yun, we didn't even consider that or even discuss that at that moment, Your Honor.
Hindi nyo kinonsider yung Sanofi.
No.
And they were playing their violin to you. Nililigawan kayo. Nilalapitan kayo.
Well, yung kanila hong issue noon, as a matter of fact, I don't even recall the exact time when they last presented it to us, was essentially, to me, an ordinary presentation without any of us deciding whether we are going to.
And that's fine even with me.
That's correct.
Because ako nag-SBMA rin ako, lumalapit lahat yung nagbebenta ng radar, ng ILS, kasama yan. Pero it is up to the department head to say no.
That's exactly my point in my commentary, Your Honor.
And you refuse. Hindi pa handa. Iba sinabi niyo, bakit hindi pa handa?
Dahil ho, the study was still, as I said, in the process of ending up essentially the phase 3 and even the observation that would further complement the commentaries of other are actually published in the literature.
How is your relationship with the president now?
I have not had any contact with the current...
Since you left?
Since I left with President Aquino.
But it would be safe to assume that he doesn't think that you're going to sell him down the river. Hindi niyo siya ibebenta. Hindi niyo siya bababayaan. Kampante siya.
I cannot comment on that, Your Honor.
All right, I'll let you go on that. But can you comment on the fact that why will he suddenly say, kasama ko si Dr. Ona nung mag-usap kami?
I think he has already corrected that misinformation that was given to him, Your Honor.
Yes, he retracted his statement on 2014. He said Secretary Ona was with him at a meeting in China with officials of French Pharmaceutical, right? A report on Unang Balita on Wednesday quoted Aquino saying that he was mistaken about Ona's presence at the meeting in China in 2014. So, retract niya. But why do you think he would say that? Does he have some form of sickness na nakakalimutan niya? Ako, may sakit ako niya, nakakalimutan ko yung pangalan eh.
Siguro po, the President check or double-check yung kanyang information that was given to him.
Now,
I would assume
if
that
you were
that's what-
Secretary of Health and you're going to have your president meet Sanofi, is it not true? And I will show you to you if my staff can do it fast enough. And I said it before with the President, na ang Sanofi nagkaroon ng problema sa Amerika. Na-file na. the medicine is Menactra, 2017 October. Antitrust. Sanofi Pasteur suppressed competition by charging patients. Okay, that's October 2017. April 3, drugs for veterans. False claim, Sanofi. Fine, $19.8 million. The previous claim, $61.5 million. France, November 2016. Nag-i-inaksyon na tayo rito. Depakine, a brand name for valproate. Nangyari, birth defects, stillbirths, according to France National Agency of Medicine, between 2,150 and 4,100 children suffered severe malformations linked to the drug between 2006 to 2014. Some 425 to 450 babies suffered congenital disease. The company has so far made no financial provisions, but the French Parliament, bully for them, created a nationwide compensation fund and amended the 2017 budget to set aside an initial 10 million euros for claims relating to Depakine.
Your Honor, I've heard some of this, but not to the extent that you have made on that, Your Honor.
In 2015, Sepra Film, a surgical device, false claim, fine, $32.5 million. Filed in 2014, diabetes drug, antitrust. Kenya, not specified. Bribery. I'm not trying to wreck Sanofi, but these are the facts. And Sanofi is well enough, is strong enough, and it's got all the lawyers at their disposal to go after these people. Bribery. Sanofi employees violated the False Claims Act. Next, Flavix, antitrust, $52.8 million fine in France mismo. In France. In Germany, May 2013, bribery. A German court convicted two former employees of Sanofi Adventist on bribery charges. Fine, $39 million. December 2012, Yelgan, knee injection, false claims, $109 million, and so forth and so on. If the President could forget who was with him, certainly the staff should have researched, boss, you're talking to Sanofi, okay, good company, by and large, but it has all problems. So before you talk about that, there could be certain issues that can be raised against you. Don't you think that's part of due diligence?
Tama po. Tama po.
And yet, this president met with him again in France on December the following year. Mukhang, ano ba yung alitan nyo? Tampuhan ba yun? Ayaw ba pumayag doon sa Sanofi?
It has nothing to do with Sanofi. No,
good. I'm glad that you say that. Ano yung tampuhan?
Well, it was...
If you're welcome to one. If you're
feeling po that at that time, issues wherein I felt the President did not trust anymore my advice on him.
Is that?
It started...
Did you have access to him?
Well, it started even with the issue on pneumonia vaccine.
Right.
And even with the issue of Ebola. You're very familiar with that, Your Honor.
Yes,
we discussed that. And as a matter, it was very, very recommendation that we send assistance to Africa.
The Red Cross sent one, and unfortunately, the country did not send any.
The President just ignored the suggestion. As a matter of fact, I even volunteered to head the team to go to Africa. There was a special request from the British government, from Prime Minister Cameron, for assistance from us to send health workers. And I was very, very strong in my recommendation because I felt that that was the least that we could do with the help that that the other countries had given to us during the typhoon in Leyte. And so therefore I felt that there was a certain amount of maybe responsibility for us to really assist the world community and the WHO and then the CDC in the United States as well as even in UK during the time.
At tama lang po yun because tumulong naman sa atin. Ano? At saka hindi naman naman tumulong kung kaya. So yun ang hindi nyo pagkakaintindihan. Sabi nyo nawalan kayo ng access. Ba't kayo nawalan ng access?
It's not that wala ho. It's just that we could not get that time to be able to sit down with the president.
You are the Secretary of Health and you could not get the time?
That's exactly what happened, Your Honor.
And yes, Secretary Garin must have been very, very influential that he would take care, she would be with him everywhere he went.
Your Honor, may I be clarified on that statement? You mentioned that I am...
You were in France.
Yes, you mentioned that I was with whom everywhere he went?
No,
with Secretary...
I withdraw that because parang doon ko lumalabas sa akin, kasama kayo sa France.
Your Honor, that's the only trip that I was with the President. And allow me to clarify that. That's the only trip.
I withdraw and I apologize, all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
I made that statement. I'm tired, and that's not an excuse. I withdraw the statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. My presence in the December 1 or December 2 meeting was an offshoot of the information I got sometime in November. I was informed that during the APEC Economic Leaders meeting, Philippine officials met the president of Sanofi Pasteur. And there was actually a meeting between Secretary Purisima and Yusek Belisario and Yusek Ken Hartigan-Go with Sanofi Pasteur, and recognizing the significant impact of dengue and the high awareness level of the president, and that's the former President Aquino, the disease, taking off from the visit of President Hollande, there was an invitation for a face-to-face meeting, and that was the information relayed to me. And that's why I was in that meeting.
All right, then I'll go to you then, since you wanted to speak out. Let me show you the timelines. Can you go 2014 November? Is that the one? November 9, November 9, 2014. I correct myself. Di pala November 14, November 9. That's why I said almost 2 weeks after you took a leave of absence. And of course, eventually, Secretary Ona, you resigned in December, correct? Or November?
Actually,
December.
I left in December, Your Honor.
December, yes, I will get to that. There was a meeting in Sanofi in China. On January 21, Sanofi Pasteur submitted its application for registration with the FDA. Sanofi completed its dose share on the 2015. On May 14, 2015, you were already, Secretary Garin was already, by this time, the OIC, right? May 2015? Because you became OIC when Secretary Ona took leave, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, May 14, you were OIC, or Acting Secretary, if you will. Secretary went to Paris, France, and met with Sanofi Pasteur officials. Correct?
Was the date, Your Honor? June 9.
No, May 14.
Yes, Your Honor.
And was this a planned trip or was this a side trip? Weren't you going to Geneva for the World Health Organization meeting, I surmise?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you took a side trip to the World Health, to Sanofi?
Well, it was included. The visit to the plant was included in my itinerary.
I don't understand. You took a side trip, is my question. Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you. And then, on June 9, 6 months after the meeting, or 7 months after the meeting, you negotiated with Sanofi to reduce the cost of the vaccines in Manila. You were trying to say, baba nyo ng konti, baka pwede mag-public-private partnership dyan. Di po ba?
Your Honor, may I clarify that? The June 9, 2015 meeting was actually a presentation of the cost-effectiveness analysis by Professor Hilton Lam. And when he presented and I saw the cost...
Hilton Lam.
Yes, Your Honor.
You confirm that? The formulary? You met with the formulary?
No, Your Honor, it was the presentation of the preliminary results of the cost-effectiveness analysis of the dengue vaccine.
Is that the meeting with the formulary? Sila Dr. Hilton Lan? You mentioned
No,
it.
Your Honor, it was a meeting with Yusek Ken Hartigan-Go, Yusek Belisario, and the
Ken
key technical
Hartigan-Go.
staff from DOH, DPCB, Epidemiological Bureau, and NCPAM.
All right.
It was a presentation of the cost-effectiveness analysis of Professor Hilton Lam, and I specifically and categorically mentioned that while the
Excuse me,
department...
I just want to clarify. Sino Dr. Hilton Lam?
Yes, Your Honor,
The formulary.
he's a member of the formulary, but he was the one who was commissioned by, I'm not sure, I think by NC, by son of...
Oh, I'm sorry. Bagalbaldo, I'm sorry. Sino yung Hilton Lam dyan kanina? Nasa si Hilton Lam. Hilton Lam.
Call of nature, Your Honor.
No, we call it liquidity problems here. All right, go ahead.
So the June 19, 2015 meeting was a meeting where he presented the primary results of the cost-effectiveness analysis of the dengue vaccine. Before me, the two undersecretaries and the key technical staff from the Disease and Prevention Control Bureau, the Epidemiological Bureau, and the National Center for Pharmaceutical Access to Medicines.
Excuse me, Dr. Garin. Hilton Lam said that he was also being by Sanofi.
For the cost-effectiveness analysis, Your Honor, yes.
Hilton?
And that's...
Are you Hilton or Shelbourne? Or Sheraton? Hilton, right. If I remember correctly, just to refresh my memory, did you say you were being funded also in your research by Sanofi?
Yes, Your Honor. Sanofi had
May
contracted
perang inutuloduso sa Sanofi. Fair naman yan, hindi naman masama yan. Na para tingnan yung cost effectiveness ng gamot nila.
Opo, sir.
Siyempre, nag-o-offer sila, titignan mo yung gamot, pero pinondahan ka.
Yes, sir.
Medyo, yun ang sinasabi ko na gray area. Yun ang ayoko, yung gray area.
Your Honor, that's the reason why, when we found out about this, I requested Yusek Ken Hartigan-Go and the Office of Dr. Guerrero to submit a request for DBM to fund all cost-effectiveness analysis studies.
Good. That should be the
DBM was
case.
willing to fund it, however, no proposal was submitted.
All right. Let me just continue. I'm just stating the date. No, my questions are reserved later on because
Your Honor, for purposes of transparency, during the presentation of the cost-effectiveness analysis, at the same time, Sanofi Pasteur also disclosed the price of the vaccine. And I mentioned the expected price for the private sector. And I specifically told them that, yes, we do have interest for the public program as what I've taken off from Secretary Ona, but I echo the high price per dose of the vaccine as a possible limitation.
That's fair.
So no
That's
negotiation.
Fair.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm not holding you to that because siyempre nagbibigay sila ng offer. Kailangan tanungin natin yung mga experts. Kung alam, pinondohan nila yung expert natin, tapos pinalitan mo na, kailangan yun na lang Department of Health funded. Tapos ngayon, siyempre, nagsabi sila ng presyo, napakamahal naman yan. Ako rin ganyan eh. I know. I mean, I've been there. But you know, magaling mag-violin lahat yung mga nag-o-offer. Kaya nga, takot ako doon sa supply-driven. Nag-iingat ako doon pagka in-operan tayo. Ingat ka agad dyan. Anyway, if I may continue. Then on December 1, 2015, again, and I'm sorry I said that earlier, you met with Sanofi officials in Paris with President Aquino. In a meeting supposed to be for climate change, but you made, or somehow there was a meeting, side trip by Sanofi officials or vice versa, and you met with Sanofi officials. Right?
Yes, Your Honor. As I have mentioned, it was a takeoff from the APEC Economic Leaders meeting here in Manila.
All right. Manila? In Beijing, you mean?
No, Your Honor. In Manila.
November ba yun? Oh, sige. Now, on December 10, I said this already a while ago, you submitted a proposal after that meeting to DBM for health funding, right? For 3 million doses ba yun or 1 million? 3 million doses. 1 million. Mali yan. 1 million. Di ba? 1 million doses. 3 million. I'm sorry.
3 million doses for 1 million children, Your Honor.
Hindi ka ba ikaw nakaupo dito sa tabi ko, dito sa harap, at nag-meeting kayo doon sa Sanofi sa Paris, pagbalik dito, December 10, wala pang 11 araw, you submit a proposal to DBM for health facilities enhancement. That means, mukhang made up na mind ninyo. Mukhang kayo ni President Aquino nag-made up na, okay na yan. Kaya, ang bilis.
Your Honor, we submitted 4 vaccines. So the proposal was for 4 vaccines. So it's not true that our minds were already made up for the dengue vaccine.
But you did not meet with the CEOs of the other vaccines.
Your
You
Honor,
only met with one. You only met with Sanofi. The other 4, you did not meet with them. Only one. Twice pa. Sanofi in China, Sanofi here. And let me continue. December 22, 11, si Mr. Baquilod submitted a justification on your request, according to him. Tama ba yan? I can see nothing he said. And then, December 22, all of a sudden, my heart sings. FDA approved the marketing of the dengue vaccine. FDA issued certificate of product registration. It was gaining momentum. Bumibilis na bumibilis. December 28, against the judgment, can you go back, please? December 28, DBM asked EPI to prepare procurement documents for the dengue vaccine, in which our good friend, Dr. Dukusin, said, sige, okay yan. And then, on January 7, Secretary Dr. Dukusin, magiging secretary ka na, Dr. Dukusin suddenly said, uy, hindi natin kaya yan. Huwag muna natin tuloy-tuloy yan. Di ba? Tatawa si Dukusin. Yun rin ang sinabi ng FEC, pero tuloy-tuloy na ng trend. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang trend. Sinabi ng FEC, sinabi ni Dukusin, tuloy-tuloy pa rin. On December 29, wow, Saro, 3.5 billion. That's gotta be a record. DBM, have you ever had any record na nakapagpalabas sa 3.5 billion in so many days? Tutut.
Possible, Your Honor.
Hindi ko tatanong possible. Ilang beses kayo nakapagpadala? O sige, mukhang maraming beses na.
Very recent lang, sir.
Very recent.
We have prepared po a SARO. Again, also for DOH, Your Honor.
Ano yung SARO na yan?
It was a savings coming from the mega rehab centers that was not pushed through. So
ayan
it was,
yung dapat maglalagay ng mga little clinics.
So hindi po siya tuloy.
Pero natuloy, nakagastos ng 1 billion, di ba?
Yung pong natira ay ni-request po nila. So that's mga 2 billion nga din po yata yung request.
Ano po yan?
Mga around 2 billion something po yun. Yun po yung ni-request nila, around 2 billion. I'm not sure with the amount, but the excess amount was...
Sino nag-request sa DOH?
The Department of Health po.
Sino nga doon?
It was Secretary...
Secretary Duque?
It happened po in December 2017.
December 2017.
Yeah, I got in November 6, Mr.
So
Chairman.
did you request for that?
I think so, but let me just get my my USEC who heads the cluster.
Sige nga. Di ba meron bang request para doon sa mga little clinics saka yung dental trucks na 5 billion? Dental vans. Di ba meron?
Sir, for...
Dental buses.
Sir, Your Honor, are you referring for the 2015? It includes also a request for the use of savings amounting to 9 billion, I would recall.
So sa last week ng December, palabas na yung nakaraang administrasyon, may request for Sanofi and for vaccine, may request for na 9 billion?
Yung pong, we're talking of what happened in 2015, just to clarify. Meron kayong tanong na similar situation eh. So sa 2015 po, we processed sa SARO, December 29, for Health Facilities Enhancement Program amounting to 9 billion. Another SARO amounting to 3.5 billion for the anti-dengue vaccine. Those releases were charged against the savings that was generated and was approved by the Office of the President. Your Honor, kasi po ang use of savings requires the approval coming from the Office of the President.
and the General Appropriations Act. Dapat Congress should not be deprived of that.
If I may say, Your Honor, in the general provisions of the 2015 general provision, there is a section there, Section 70 and 71, that authorizes the President to use the savings, just like po the President of Senate, the Speaker of the House for the Congress, the Chief Justice for the Supreme Court. So meron pong ganong authority to use savings ang mga respective heads of the
Anong kaiba niya sa
agencies
DAP?
po. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but in our letter, we sent a letter to the Committee on the Good Governance to the House, and we quoted also the decision of the Supreme Court as far as the Araullo versus Segnillo.
Araullo, yes.
Yun po, yung case na yun ng DAP decision, wherein very clearly it is stated that the use of savings coming from unfilled positions, vacant positions, due to retirement, etc., can be used as can be declared as part of the savings, Your Honor. If I may be allowed to quote specifically what is written in the DAP decision.
Sige, okay.
If I may, can I read it, Your Honor?
It's okay, you're correct sa Rollo. I see correctness and I'll call it. And I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. Alright? Pero, the fact of the matter is, sa pagdiri ko, 13 billion ang hiningi. 9 plus 3. 9.5 plus 3.5.
Yung exact
13 billion or change. And change, right? More or less. So, sa iyo, hindi pangkaraniwan na yan. Ginagawa ba ng lahat yan taon-taon pagka patatapos ng taon?
Yung pong end of the year na ganyan, bakit ginagawa ba yan natural? In the past po kasi, before the Supreme Court decision on the DAP case, ginagawa po yan hindi at the end of the year. Parang pwede po siya. Kasi kung bakante po ang position, or kung meron pong hinatapos, hindi or kaya po, just like po yung sa Mega Rehab Center, alam mo na hindi itutuloy dahil doon na po ang China. So, hindi mo kailangang hantayin ang towards the end of the year. Pero ito po, because of the DAP decision, nalalaman po at dinidetermine yan
Okay, alright,
towards the end of the year.
I get the point. I can tell you that hindi niya para sa Christmas bonuses, di ba? Hindi magpipil up ng position para may bonus.
Po, ano po?
Okay, it's alright. You don't want to go into that. You don't want me to investigate that. You do not want me to investigate that, alright? Now, let me just go here with a grain of salt. January 2016, Dr. Julius Lacciones was approached by Secretary Garin that he would handle it. Dr. Lacciones, let me ask a simple question. Did you ever get funded by Sanofi?
I'm sorry, sir?
Did you ever get funded?
No, by Sanofi?
Yes.
No, sir.
Are you sure?
No, sir.
Are you really sure?
Yes, sir.
Sometime in 2006, did you not get funding of about 7 million pesos?
It's not from Sanofi. It's from Sanofi's POA Foundation for the My Child Matters
correct.
program.
Right now. I'm sorry. Sometimes I cannot distinguish kasi although I'm a lawyer, yung pinanggagalingan naman ng pera siguro ng Sanofi Foundation ba yun o Swilig?
It's Sanofi is POA Foundation.
So, siyempre yung foundation may panggagalingan ng pera yan.
Definitely, sir.
Oh, thank you for instructing me. Saan ang galing yung pera niya sa palagay mo?
That I do not know. It's my...
Sanofi, 1 plus 1 equals 2. Hindi naman magkakaroon yung foundation na bumabaksak na lang ang pera. BDO as a foundation, Metrobank as a foundation, pero we all know that these foundations are backed up by the corporations that are quite rich and they create foundations, right?
Yes. The foundation, is Sanofi's Foundation.
Try not to argue with me because I think you may be right according to this, but you know, you know damn well and good that this money comes from Sanofi, ultimately.
Maybe.
I'll take,
May
your,
I, sir,
I'll take your word for it. I'm just asking you a simple question. If you want to be evasive, I can focus my cross-examination.
Sir, may I just add for the record that that grant by the Sanofi SPA
I
Foundation
know
is
what
not
it was
to my
for.
person.
It was for PCMC. All I ask is a simple question. And when you start being defensive, that means that you've done something wrong. Ganun ba yan?
No, sir.
Should I
Definitely
conclude
not.
that? I'm just asking you a simple question. Did you ever get money?
From Sanofi, the answer is
Sanofi
no,
or
sir.
Sanofi related. Okay, Sanofi related.
I have to check
How
what
do you
is the
spell Sanofi?
Sanofi.
Good, pasado ka.
Thank you, sir.
Sanofi Foundation. Sanofi, galing yan sa pera lahat ng mga, usually 1% of their budget sa corporate funds. Is that correct? Di ba? We all know that.
What question, Your Honor?
It's okay. It's okay. I was saying, the source of money for same thing with Swilig. The Swiligs set aside money out of the generosity of their heart so that they can put money in a foundation. Sanofi has a foundation. So when people ask them for support, ask the foundation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, see? Okay? Okay, Dr. Lecciones?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you ever work with
Sanofi?
Palit ka tayo, dito ka muna. Dito ka muna. Halika, halika. I will forgive you because you're bold. My father was bold and grass does not grow on a busy street. Ganun man, Did you ever work with Dr. Garin in the past?
In the past, sir, when she was Secretary of Health, she's the board secretary of our Board of Trustees, and therefore it is on that basis that
Secretary
I
or
work.
chairman of your board of
Chairman of the board. I'm sorry,
Trustees?
sir.
Si pati ko, nagkakamali rin. Hindi lang ako.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, so it would be natural for her, and I asked you this before, na ibibigay sa iyo yung perang ganyang kalaki para kayo mag-i-implement. Ilan ba ang trabahador mo? Ilan ba nagpupunta papagamot sa iyo?
Nagpapagamot po, sir, sa PCMC?
Hindi, sa PGH. Alam mo, ikaw,
Kasi
may kalokohan niyang mo.
Kasi
ano pala?
Practitioner din ako, sir, kaya...
ganun ba? Hindi ko naman
Opo,
sinasabi
sir,
hindi ka
kaya-
practitioner eh.
Kaya po, nagagamot po di ako ng sa sarili ko po bilang a cancer specialist po sa mga
foundation ka
bata. So sa PCMC po, sir, to answer your question is, there are about 72,000 OPD consultations in a year and about 12,000
It's a busy hospital.
admissions.
I'm willing to take that.
Opo, sir.
And you have time pa to implement vaccinations?
Yes, dengue is a part of the top priority programs on the hospital, and therefore we operate with other agencies of the
I did not
OH.
ask you. I know dengue is always part of any hospital, but it also constitutes only 1%. Di ba? Death ba yan? 1% of death. 1% of mortality, correct?
In the hospital, sir, it's 1 or 2 cause of mortality.
So the point that I'm trying to raise is not that you do not look at dengue, but do you have time to implement such a big program, which people from the formulary and which everybody here says you have to really get training to properly implement it?
Yes, sir.
You have time?
We have time, sir, in cooperation with others.
I didn't ask you about cooperation.
Yes, sir, we have time.
To implement it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, really? And that's why there are deaths now. Because you did not check whether these people were sick. Huwag kang magyabang dito, ha? May mga namamatay eh. Turok kayo ng turok, ganun ba?
No, sir.
Oh.
We are accepting patients at PCMC, sir. We're so busy right now attending to
PCMC.
patients.
Lumilipat-lipat ka eh. Tinatanong ko, ini-implement mo sa buong halos 1 million people, Napaka-busy ng hospital mo, tinanggap mo, yun lang naman ang point ko eh. Ba't mo tatanggapin? Hindi mo sinabi, boss, I'm so busy at PCMC. Ang dami kong trabaho dito, huwag mo na ibigay sa akin yan. Sinabi mo ba yan? Hindi.
Hindi, sir.
Oh, correct. Sipag ka eh. And look at the risk that you had to take. Ngayon, kung may patunayan niya, may mga namatay dahil sa kakulangan mo sa pagpapatrabaho, mamaya iiyak-iyak ka kung ikaw ang masisisi. Ikaw ang fall guy. You'll be the fall guy because you implemented it. And let it be a lesson that I will not ask PGH director to implement an immunization program. Why? Because I know PGH is already terribly busy. That is not his job. Your job is to run a hospital. And yet you accepted this job. Because you're a good soldier. I have no more questions at the moment. Yeah. All right, sorry. Isa na lang kay Dr. Lecciones. Ang agreement mo sa Zwilig ay June 26, 2016. You made a purchase request sometime in January. We already asked Mr. Cesara, Director Cesara ba yan? O Santiago. Can you, and I'll repeat the question again, can you, on the basis of ask for a purchase request when the money, there's no memorandum of agreement yet?
We're quoting from the COA circular of 1994, sir, that there should be an agreement first. There should be a memorandum of agreement first before...
There must be a memorandum of agreement.
Yes, sir.
And yet, the memorandum of agreement was signed on June 23, 2016. The inoculation started in early April. Pasara na ang eskwela o sarado na. Correct? So, April, May, June. By that time, ang dami nang na-inoculate. Why is it that it is only signed on June 2016 when a lot of people have already been inoculated? Is that legal, sir?
Sir, as I said earlier, if the relationship is that DOH will request PCMC to procure, there should be that memorandum of agreement first to provide for the parameters for their engagement.
And because there was no memorandum of agreement, the procurement was wrong because napirma niyan, umaandar na yung project.
Your Honor, as I said, there should be that memorandum of agreement to dictate the cadence of the relationship.
Wala eh, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Wala eh.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, we're probably talking about two MOAs. PCMC had a memorandum of agreement with DOH, which was notarized on February 19. The June 23 MOA you are referring to is between PCMC and Zwilig, which is part actually of the contractual agreement that was triggered by the purchase order, which in itself is already also an agreement or a contract. So we might be confused about these two memorandum of agreements.
I'm referring to the MOA between, as I said earlier, DOH and PCMC. There should be that MOA first before you commence with your procurement so that it will dictate the cadence between your agency and the DOH.
It's February 19, Mr. Chair.
Ano pala ito June 23 na pinirma mo?
That's the Zwilig po.
Kaya nga.
Part.
Zwilig and PCMC.
He is referring to DOH and PCMC. That's right?
Also?
Your Honor,
pero yung MOA man, susundan kita. February, nagbuwa kayo ng DOH mo.
Yes, sir.
Pero, ini-implement na ito, nagtutusok na kayo ng eleksyon, pinirmahan nyo lang yung inyong agreement for 3 billion pesos on June 23, 2016 with Zwilig, the supplier.
The supplier po, yes, Your Honor.
So, nagpalabas na kayo, nagtutusok na kayo, wala kayong pirma sa kontrata.
The purchase order already was
I don't care about
consummated.
you have a contract. The contract is supposed to be an agreement between two parties that are binding should something go south. Doktor ka eh. Di ba? So, completely illegal. Go ahead. Dahil pahabol ah. Di ba biningi ko sa iyo yung board resolution ng PCMC last time? Nasaan yan?
Our corporate secretary is here, Your Honor. I have my copy, but it's not a certified one.
Can you get it?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I assume only in March 2017.
Can you please speak louder?
I assume only in March 2017, Your Honor, and immediately preceding...
The reso was signed on 2017?
No, Your Honor. The minutes where there was a mention of the dengue vaccine was made in January 19, 2016. Unfortunately, Your Honor, the corporate secretary did not turn over documents to me. The only documents officially turned over to me were minutes from September 2016 onwards, Your Honor.
So what does that mean?
What I only have in as is a copy, Your Honor, just a Xerox copy of the minutes.
Xerox copy pa?
Yes, Your Honor. However, Attorney Fermo, the former corporate secretary, was here a while ago, Your Honor, and he said that he was going to explain if we did minutes.
Anyway,
of
give
the
us a
meeting.
copy of that and we will peruse it kung tama yan. Kasi Xerox
Yes, Your
tayo.
Honor.
All right. The best evidence, of course, as you know, is the actual reso.
Yes,
right?
Your Honor.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just like to ask probably the panel of experts and take advantage that they are here, Mr. Chair, because the recent weeks, no, every time we watch the news, being a parent of one of those that was given the vaccine, kung panonoorin ko lang lagi yung balita, baka atakihin ako sa puso sa takot. But as chair of the Committee on Health, I have to be objective and we have to be sober about this approach looking forward. But I'd like to ask the experts themselves, siguro dapat marinig din tayo ng ating mga kababayan ngayon, lalo na yung mga ina, lalo na yung mga magulang ng 800,000 na nabukunahan. Is there really a need to panic? Kinakailangan pa talaga tayo magpanic na dahil sa nangyayaring ito? Dahil pag nanonood tayo ng balita, halos lahat ng deaths, no, sinasabi ay due to dengue. Probably we can ask panel of experts. Unang-una siguro si Mary Ann Lansanga ng UP. Kaya mo naman. And then, probably I could ask UPPGH after Dr. Legaspi or Dr. Juliet Aguilar and RITM probably. Ma'am, Dr. Lansang, sige po. Is there a need to panic? Kinakailangan ba kaming mag-alala ng mga magulang na nabakunahan ng anak?
Wala pong basis na magpanic po ngayon. Ang advice po namin, based on our calculations, dun sa mga results from the clinical trials, in general, safe ho kasi marami sa mga kababayan natin at that age would be seropositive. Ang problema po natin, merong ngang 10 to 20% or maybe 30% na seronegative.
But there are may deaths no doon sa mga naturukan.
Opo.
Yan lang po ang fact.
Yun ang tanong ninyo.
Opo.
Opo.
But is it already a cause for a parent like me to panic o mag-alala?
Hindi rin po kasi hindi pa natin nakukuha yung final result from the Dengue Investigative Task Force kung talagang dahil sa severe dengue na enhanced or napalubha ng Dengvaxia o kung natural na wild type dengue ho ito. Meron hong maliit na risk na masasabi na baka na-enhance nga yun sakit
po mga
dahil
may
sa
sakit
Dengvaxia.
na naturukan, baka
Opo.
napabilis.
Pero,
so, is there any
but we
concrete...
can address that ho by very prompt health seeking pag lagnat ang bata, pumunta ho sa dalubhasang doktor, hindi yun pipitsugang manggagamot. Para ho,
Wag sa Dr. Kwak-Kwak.
Opo. Para ho ma-detect kagad at ma-manage kagad. Gusto ko hong i-stress na pwede rin hong kung hindi magaling ang doktor, mamatay ang bata dahil sa mismanagement. Kaya ho talagang importanteng na-train ang mga doktor sa management ng dengue. So marami hong dahilan kung bakit mamamatay ang bata.
Thank you, Dr. Dansang. Si ano po, na Dr. Juliet Aguilar o si Dr. Legaspi, anybody from PGH, probably can also inform the committee of your findings kahit na ano lang, briefly, in connection with this question.
Maraming salamat po sa tanong kasi yun sana ang talagang kanina ko pang iniisip paano natin ipapahiwatig sa buong bayan yung mga nanay na talagang grabe na ang kanilang pagkaba ngayon. Ang kailangan po natin sabihin din, ipahiwatig sa kanila na ang dengue infection ay hindi mangyayari kung hindi kayo nakagat ng lamok. Kaya importante yung ating paligid, lilinisin natin. Huwag tayo maglalagay ng mga bagay-bagay na magiging breeding places ng dengue. Ano yung tawag natin? Vector, yung mosquito na tinatawag na nagdadala ng dengue. So, ang kailangan, clean up. If this is our time to clean up, we have to do a clean up, total cleanup ng ating environment.
So, hindi po totoo na dahil doon sa, kasi pag nanonood ka lang, kung hindi ka layman ka ho, ang lumalabas, parang lahat po ng mga namamatay na napapabalita ay dahil sa dingbaksya.
Hindi naman po.
Magtahok kayo po ang paliwanag sa publiko para naintindihan.
Kasi po, ang ating, kasi sa dami na-injection, na bakunahan ng dingbaksya, talagang meron ding mga normal diseases that will happen na with or without dingbaksya. In other words, meron yung aming isang team member, isang specialist sa hematology oncologist. Meron kaming 2 cases out of the 14 na leukemia. So sabi namin, meron kasing may isang mga virgin case. So sabi namin, is this caused by the dengue or is it not? But if you look at the normal statistics ng leukemia, sa dami na almost 1 million cases na nabakunahan, meron, I think the estimate is around, in the normal, is around 20 or so patients that could be seen in this population, even without vaccination. So we don't know at the moment kung may relasyon dito sa dengvaxia na binigay. Kaya gusto lang kaya lagi na sinasabi natin, gusto pa nating gumawa pa ng mga masinsinang pag-aaral para malaman natin kung ano. I think the whole world is looking at us. We have a lot of patients that have been given this vaccine in a mass scale. So we are actually, although we don't want to say na naging subject sila ng study, pero we might as well take advantage of the situation. Kung ano yung mai-discover natin dito sa situation, we have to make something good out of what we have right now. So sana talaga lahat ng mga forces, mga tao, magtulong-tulong talaga, lahat ng agencies. Huwag na tayo
ko lang po, madam, sorry to cut you short. Dito po sa dingbaksya, for us to be able to determine kung takasakaling dingbaksya nga ang dahilan, do we need to really autopsy or sa blood sample lang pwede? Kasi alam ko ang dengue dapat sa blood pa lang.
Sana yung, kasi yung mga sinabi natin pong tissue studies, kailangan po natin, kasi wala na yung patient, yung bata, no? So yung mga ongoing na surveillance natin, meron po tayong in place na ng pathway, kunyari kung anong gagawin, kunyari meron tayong suspicion ng dengue, without dengvaxia and with dengvaxia, meron na po tayong napag-aralan na ginawa na ng DOH at na-roll out na yan sa lahat ng hospital.
And who are authorized, no, to conduct? Ilan lang ho ba ang
ang alam kong
forensic pathology sa ating bansa? Ilan ho ba ang
alam ko
qualified?
po na talagang for forensic pathologist ay dadalawa lang po.
And I think Dr. Lim is one of them.
Ang isa
from
sa dalawa
UPPGH.
nating forensic pathologist ay nasa paligid natin, si Dr. Cecil
Dr. Lim.
Lim. And the other pathologist has been engaged by Sanofi. So, hindi siya pwede natin siyang tanungan.
Dalawa na nga lang, kinuha pa ng Sanofi. Isa.
Okay. So kaya nga nung kinuha namin itong team, sinigurado namin na wala pong baggage ang aming member ng team.
But before you, siguro, tanong ko lang siguro, I'll just take advantage dahil dadalawa lang palang ating forensic pathologist. Kasi later on, Mr. Chair, in case we build up a case against Sanofi, for example, in the future, probably in the international court, we want to make sure we have an airtight case. Ang problema, ang worry ko rito, no, I know I'm getting the hit for this, that yung PAO has been conducting autopsies. Paano kung malaman pala na hindi pala sila authorized? Baka mamaya may ganun. So, tama ho, ang our aim is that everybody should help on coordinate dahil we have to build an airtight case. So, baka mamaya, nagpakahirap tayo, ma-technical lang tayo in the end, and then all of these efforts, we have been spending so many hours here, tapos matatalo lang pala tayo because of technicality, Mr. Chair. Probably, Dr. Lim, can you siguro kahit briefly lang kung ano po ang procedures at pwede nyo ma-contribute so that we would be able to have an airtight case against Sanofi, for example, or whoever the culprits are.
Sir, I haven't been sworn in yet, so. I do.
Hindi ka napansin na itong matandang nasa likod.
And I have to apologize, I was slow in standing up. Sir, we still have to do the autopsies for the simple reason that you want a complete picture of what happened. You don't want, especially for the future cases, you don't want to bury the body or even cremate the body and then find out na, ay hindi pa kami tapos. By that time, wala na. So as much as possible, we need to do complete test and complete collection, even dun sa kung pwedeng habulin yung mga namatay na at
So
bury na.
So the autopsies are very essential
Yes,
in
sir.
this investigation.
Yes, sir.
Siguro ang worry ko lang kasi kung wala yung bawa, hindi po, dapat dagang experts po, no, in the future, baka yung tissue samples, baka mamaya maging contaminated na. And it might, baka ma-technical, yun po ang problema. Tama ba ako,
Yes,
Doktora?
sir.
Hindi ako doktor kaya lang.
Yes, sir. So there are standards to performing the autopsy that you might be questioned if you go to an international court, for example.
You have to be authorized or you have to have the training, the proper
problem in the
training.
Philippines, sir, is we don't really, the sanitation code doesn't really specify who is authorized. So anybody can actually do an autopsy, any doctor.
Yeah,
but ang ano na lang, sir, is yung specialty. For example, kayo, kunyari may sakit kayo sa puso, kanino kayo pupunta? Kay Dr. Gap Legaspi, neurosurgeon, o pupunta kayo kay Dr. Liacho na cardiologist? Ay, di ba cardiologist? Ay, hindi ba? That's what I understand. So,
Thank you very much, Doctora. It's been very helpful. We have to understand kaming mga layman na hindi po kami mga doktor. Very, very careful in issuing statements here. But of course, Mr. Chair, we are here to find out the truth and likewise prevent to create any more hysteria which is not helping at all. Ang worry ko lang, siguro I'd like to ask probably siguro si Dr. Lechon later on and Dr. Duque, kung ano po yung magiging plano natin, no? Now that there's a hysteria, there's some sort of panic, how does the DOH intend to address this? Because Mr. Chair, ang problema ngayon, there are a lot of parents right now who refuse to have their children be given vaccines already. Pati yung diphtheria, yung usual polio. And I was informed that about 30%, there's a 30, I don't know if it's correct, 30% drop already. My worry, Mr. Chair, that this will be a problem in the next few years if this trend goes on. Baka magkaroon na tayo ng epidemic, magkaroon tayo ng outbreak of diseases kung hindi matuloy at hindi maibalik yung tiwala ng publiko sa ating pong immunization program. Siguro, Dr. Duque, and then I'll ask Dr. Lechon what do you think about this. Secretary Duque, what does the DOH intend to do to bring back the confidence on the immunization program?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're right. We have feedback from the ground, and in particular Region 3, where report to us is that the immunization coverage in 2017 was at 87%. But I think now they see a decline in the coverage. And to date, I think it's down to 57%, a substantial 30% reduction. And that's truly a cause for concern.
Yeah, what will be the implications, the Secretary Duque?
Well, the long term,
in the long term.
Yes, sir. Well, number two, let me also report that in Davao City, where I was last week, the regional director had reported to me that there's an increasing number of parents who don't want their children to be injected with the measles vaccine. And one of the more common reasons for refusal is, again, the dengue vaccine has tainted the other vaccines, the innocent vaccines. And also, even for the very benign deworming activity, which is not even necessary to inject, and it's just a tablet that you drink, swallow, and even that, there's been a palpable refusal on the part of parents, of these school children. So we see now a very serious implication of this, and I think this is fanned unnecessarily by the hysterics that seem to come from certain quarters, and this is not fair because the parents will tend to absorb everything that is mentioned about this and coming from questionable sources, such an information. So I think it behooves upon all of us to really band together and to only allow information that's evidence-based and truly scientific based. This is very important, and I appeal to everyone, especially those whom we occasionally see on TV, and they certainly there's an effort to create this hysteria or this fear, if not panic, among parents of children. We do understand, of course, the sentiment of the parents, but I think it is important that for us, for the Senate, for the Congress, for DOH, for the other agencies of government, to really have a unified stand. That,
are you open, Secretary Duque? Because I think you have already formed a task force, yes, supposedly. UPPGH was tasked to do the studies. Unfortunately, PAO has been doing their own thing, and we have invited them. I am not, for the record, Mr. Chair, hindi ko po sila pinatitigil sa kanilang pag-autopsy. All I'm asking for them is to coordinate and work together with the experts so that we will have an airtight case later on when we file these cases later on in the courts.
That's the ultimate objective, Mr. Chairman, and that is why yesterday I had met with Secretary Vit Aguirre and to officially transmit to him the findings of the UPPGH dengue vaccine investigation task force, and he and I told him that this can provide very valuable information that will hope to complement the findings of other groups, or in fact, he told me that he will have it investigated once again by the NBI experts this time. I was informed by Secretary Aguirre that they do have real experts in the NBI who do autopsy, forensics autopsy, meaning not only gross examination of the bodies and the organs of the dead, but also tissues from such bodies that can be examined under the microscope, and to relate this with other medical, clinical, and other laboratory and diagnostic findings.
Thank you, Sec. Duque. I just like to take, no? The problem now is gaining back the confidence of the parents to the program. And probably can ask the PMA, Dr. Bucastro is here, and how you can help your association, the Philippine Medical Association, can help bring back the confidence. And probably next is Dr. Antoinette Gonzalez, no? Sa mga pediatric practitioners, probably those two people. Yes, sir. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Briefly and directly to the point. Ito kasi panic na, no? So it's about the forensic findings versus the findings of the PGH. All of the doctors involved here ay lahat sila membro ng PMA. So palagay ko naman hindi sila hindi kung imbitahan namin sila lahat at pag-usapan namin ito sa professional level para hindi magkawindang-windang yung interpretation ng ating mga kababayan at mawawala yung panic. So, kung nandito sana si Dr. Erfe, kukunin ko yung kanyang sagot sa public kung willing siya na gawin ng PMA na venue at ang PGH, kung willing din sila, Dr. Duque and Dr. Garin, kung willing sila na gawin ng PMA, gawin ang lahat ng reconciliation ng mga findings. Meron kasi kami tinatawag na morbidity, mortality conference na lahat sa pinakaliit-liitang parte ng katawan ay pinag-uusapan yan. At gagawin po namin yan sa professional level at pag-report po namin, we will reduce that into a layman's term kung maaari.
Let me just say, with the permission of Senator Herzog, just to reinforce, if I may. Secretary Duque, you heard Dr. Cecilia Lim here that there is a need for an autopsy. Now, it is of paramount importance because I heard you say last time, I think one of you said, it's going to take about 20 years, may lalabas pa yan.
I think it was Dr. Lansang who articulated that, the possibility.
Dr. Lansang, thank you for... So, maaaring 20 years, maaaring 10 years, maaaring 5 years. The point is, abang hindi natin nakikita yan, there's got to be autopsies, studies on how, on what is happening, because that can be our contribution to the world as well. But at the same time, we have to assure the public, especially pag nakasakit na yung bata, ngayon, na andyan ang DOH kaagad. No? I think that will help stifle the hysteria. Dapat nakahanda kayo na pag may nagkasakit sa Bataan, nagkasakit sa Zambales, sa Cebu, nakahanda ang DOH, talaga lalapitan natin yan because buhay yan eh. Nakikita naman niya ang violent reaction na ng tao. At pag sinabi niya yan at talagang napapaepektuhan yan, mababawasan yung hysteria. Especially kung may results kaagad na magagawa. I want to know whether that's a step in the right direction na gagawin. In fact, we are ready to work with you also in Direct Cross, as you know.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for allowing your
Kasi
people...
may gastos yan. Sa autopsy lang, may gastos na naman yan. Kaya nagtataka ko, just to follow up, Sanofi had a statement today that they're not willing to pay. Well, that's the first answer of Sanofi. But as far as I'm concerned, they are duty-bound to take care of all the patients, all the anxieties, all these things, para to preserve their good name. Nakadisgrasya sila. You were able to, you got some bad reactions. We're not saying that Deng Vaxia caused it, but they think it behooves Sanofi, which is the bigger, which is the elephant in the room, so to speak, literally, na you help take care of these people. I'm not trying to bilk you, but I would like to see Sanofi on its own take responsibility.
Mr. Chairman.
Is that possible?
As we've said previously, Your Honor, we will indeed take responsibility.
Sorry?
As we've said previously, Your Honor, we will indeed take our responsibility.
Mr. Chairman.
So you're saying we have to prove it?
As of today, Your Honor...
Isn't it to your interest that we research on this matter and that there's anything there that we need to find out? Isn't it in your interest to find out right away so the drug can be administered in a correct way or that you can improve the drug? I mean, I think it should be your responsibility to check. It's a moral responsibility,
and
a legal responsibility.
And we're working on it, Your Honor. None of the cases so far has been communicated to us, despite our many requests.
Because you are waiting to be called. But if I were the owner of the company, I would right away go take a look at that because that's our company name. Let's help them out, find out. If there's something wrong, we're ready to answer for it.
And
that's the kind of answer.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
As I was mentioning, Your Honor, we definitely want to look into it. We have asked for many instances to have the data, which we have not received, Your Honor.
We can't get away from you. We only have two forensic pathologists, and you already got one.
So,
I mean, if you send this to pathology to University of Pittsburgh, Sanofi is there. I understand that because you are investing a lot of money. So why can't you now continue to help out since there is something that's obviously taking its toll on our people that you are assuring them that you're going to take a look and help out. So if they get you some documentation, would Sanofi be willing to help? You better consult your Geneva or your partners in France to find out whether they'll be willing to do that.
We'll definitely look into every document. We definitely look into any document. We are proposing our collaboration. We have also proposed to have WHO. There are plenty of other experts outside the Philippines to come and support. I'm sure that WHO will be also very happy to support.
Secretary Duque, is that true?
There are many ways to look into it.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
They will cooperate. They just told you you can go jump in the lake with your request that they pay. They put out a bond. I suggest that they put out a bond. You ask even more. He said, pay right away. Pay
yes,
the whole amount.
even the used, because they already paid the unused vaccines have been paid in the amount of 1,161 million. But subsequently, I wrote them a letter again, a demand letter, saying they should reimburse even the cost of the used vaccines in the amount of about 1.8 billion, 1,800 million.
And their answer is no.
Yeah, well, there seems to be a bit of flip-flopping on the part of Sanofi because yesterday they said they were still open to further talks and discussion. So I don't know how firm the position of Sanofi is, but in fact, I haven't even received the letter reply to our the demand letter last week.
You see, they talk to our president when they're selling. Now that there is some damage, they should talk to us. Don't you think so?
Yes, certainly. And of course, our doors are open, but other options are available to the DOH. And
we're not here to bilk them. We just want to know, tutulong ba kayo? Tumulong kayo. Hindi na kayo kailangan sabihan. Yes, Senator.
Mr. Chair, with the indulgence of Chair JV, gusto ko lang i-refresh yung memory ng Sanofi. I was saying, Sir Triumph, that I just like to refresh the memory of Sanofi kasi parang umaatras dun sa sinabi na nila sa committee ito. It seems that you're taking a half step back from what you already told this committee in the previous hearing. I'm sure you're aware of the findings of the UPPGH experts, one of which was that of the 14 bodies of the children examined, 3 cases were found with causal association. I'm very interested in the term causal. No, Mr. Triumph, that is, at least UPPGH can correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I read in the newspapers. But I'm very interested in the term causal association because in the last hearing, and please confirm or correct me on this, you said that, quote, in response to the 3rd time I asked this question here in the Blue Ribbon Committee, if Sanofi would be willing to bear legal and ethical burden of shouldering medical expenses of children who should not have been vaccinated with Dengvaxia but were and therefore got sick more severely with dengue thereafter. In the last hearing, is it correct that you said that, quote, should there be any case related to the vaccination, death, or any other case, we will shoulder the cost if there is a causality that has been demonstrated through scientific evidence. Could you please confirm or deny this statement that I documented you made to this Blue Ribbon Committee?
I do perfectly confirm that we are definitely a law-abiding firm, and I do confirm that provided there is the scientific, independent, and medical assessment, which includes all parties, where we will look at the causality of Dengvaxia, not dengue disease, with any such event. Should we be liable, we will definitely take our responsibility. And I will be very happy to go back to your previous point, to quote what was cited on Friday by the director of the Philippine General Hospitals on the panel of experts, saying, there is no direct evidence for now that the vaccine caused any change in the course of the dengue shock syndrome of the kids.
Yes, Mr. Triumph, but the previous hearing, you weren't asking for direct evidence. You said, we will shoulder cost if there is a causality. That has been demonstrated through scientific evidence. Well, the experts conducted a thorough and scientific probe, and it was determined that there was causal association in 3 of the cases studied. So, based on your previous statement to this committee and your commitment to our committees and to the public, are you willing to compensate the families, at least of those 3
So as
victims?
I've just mentioned, on those 3, causality has not been demonstrated. I'm clarifying this, but I will let the experts speak further.
I think,
yes, Mr. Chairman, if we could, yes,
okay,
thank
sorry.
you. It's all right, ma'am.
I think we have to make sure that we are on the same plane when we are talking about causality. Siguro tatagalugin ko na ba? Oo. Kasi kailan hindi nila maintindihan kaya. So anyway, ang causality, we use the term, is based on WHO definition. Remember, yung ginamit natin, yung algorithm ng WHO on the assessment of adverse events following immunization, AEFI. Matunog yung word na, yung acronym na yun, AEFI. So batay dun sa source document na yon na ginamit natin bilang evaluation tool, ang causality is not exactly necessarily meaning the one that we know na direct effect. Pwedeng hindi. Basta may relasyon kung sasabihin natin. Kaya siguro hindi tayo magkaintindihan with the Sanofi because they're pinning in on the direct causality. Kaya lang sinabi ni Senator Risa na nung sinabi dati, causality lang, hindi naman sinabi direct. So it's really a matter of semantics now. Kung ano yung talagang ibig sabihin nila o how much they're going to commit. Pero based on what we have in the document, ang categorically, ang World Health Organization says, causality assessment does not really look into, maybe I should just read it. Causality assessment usually will or will not prove or disprove an association between an event and the immunization. So medyo technically a little difficult to understand by the average person. Kaya it's important for us to have all the terms understood. Kaya when we made this document, sinama namin din yung fact sheet on what the terms are. And we always say that when you read our official executive summary, you should always refer to the glossary of terms para magkaintindihan tayo. So when we say there is causal association, there is a relationship. Whether one is the cause of the other still has to be determined. Kung sa sinabi nila na gusto nilang direct, talaga wala pa tayong evidence. Kailangan pa tayo gumawa ng further investigation. Whether or not we will see it is again actually being questioned by the world. Mahahanap ba natin nun di? But I think whether we anticipate to see it or not, we should still do it, because how will we know?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me, I'm constrained. The Senate President Pimentel asked me to conclude at 2 o'clock. No? So, go ahead. I just want to, because we can have another hearing, no? Because after all, meron pang nire-request si JV. I would like to finish it up, but hindi pa tapos. No? So, we can have the hearing on February 21 if that's okay with everybody. And as I pointed out, sabi nga ni Professor Lansang, mahaba ito, maraming panlalabas dito. So I suppose I'd like to terminate it, but apparently hindi terminate because of these issues. Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Chairman, just one last point before I return the floor to Chairman JV, who very kindly allowed me to follow up on one of his points. Maraming salamat kay Dr. Juliet for further educating the committee and the public about this. And in fairness, UPPGH Tech Task Force, they did say that these 3 cases died due to dengue despite receiving Dengvaxia. 2 of them were possibly caused by vaccine failure. And however, they did say that more studies have to be done to complete the investigation. But may I point out what the very kind Doctora did not point out? This is not just a matter of semantics. One of my points here is that previously, sa naunang hearing, Mr. Triumph, in the previous hearing, all you were pointing out was causal association. Suddenly, you are saying, okay, well, I will consult then the Secretariat of the committee, the Blue Ribbon Committee, what you said, but this is what my staff has documented from the committee. But suddenly today, you are saying only direct. I think maybe you may be missing an opportunity here to mend relationships with your market here in the Philippines, which has been caused so much fear and loss of confidence in our very important immunization program of the health department by being more liberal, more forthcoming in terms of meeting Filipinos halfway in terms of your legal and even more than that your ethical obligation. So I'll return the floor to Chair JV now, Mr. Chairman, just saying that I have 3 more sets of questions sana for today. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Siguro
Chair
just
JV.
to wrap up, Mr. Chair, Dr. Lechon, probably I'd just like to ask anybody from ITM, Dr. Lupisan or Talio, and then Dr. Lechon, and then Liachon, of course.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair.
Is there a need to panic?
Sir, hysteria or panic, sir, there must be a balance eh. Kasi pag hindi naman, sir, tayo may sense of urgency, nagiging complacent tayo. And I agree with the PGH and the other experts here, but autopsies are key. Sir, we need tissue samples under the microscope. And it's not just, sir, science and it's just politics or the ethics and morality of the whole vaccination program that should be put under the microscope. Sir, I think it's a complex web of conflict of interest. Eh. But I'd like, sir, to refocus, sir, on the main issue why we are here, is the safety of the kids. And the reason, therefore, the panic and the hysteria, wala, sir, urgent justice. Eh. Sa naririnig ko, 10 taon, 20 taon. Ngayon, paano, sir, sila ma-indemnify kaagad ng Sanofi? Doon, sir, nang gagaling yung galit eh. Then the trust in the vaccination program or the DOH and FDA can only be regained if there's urgent justice, there's indemnification. Sanofi can actually regain that by actually caring for the Filipinos and unveiling the truth, and if there's accountability in the first place, sir.
Thank you. Siguro si Dr. Lupisa Dela sa RITM. Because you were the ones who conducted the studies,
Yeah.
is there a need to panic already for the public?
No, thank you very much for the opportunity to tell you. One, kami po ang nag-conduct nga ng studies, RITM, but the studies initially we found in the efficacy and safety part, it was safe and it was efficacious. 65% po ang kanyang di ba, efficacy. So that means that there's 35% there might be failure, but vaccines are really like that. If you have measles,
So what could that be? Ano kaya? Hindi vaccine ba nag-cause o was it
Sir,
failure of
may I intervene
vaccination?
on that?
Yeah. Sige ma'am, sige pa. Si Dr.
65%, ibig sabihin, may failure rin po yung vaccine. Kung measles ay 85% effective, may 15% tayo. But there's in vaccines, not all vaccines are 100% effective or efficacious.
But they don't necessarily kill people, right?
No, they should be found to be safe.
And that is why we have to go on the safety issue.
I'm so happy because Dr. Mary Ann said earlier that the vaccine is safe, especially that group ng 9 onwards, because majority of them would have been positive. So I'm very happy that they have mentioned that. So I'm saying again that with or without the vaccine, you might have dengue because dengue is prevalent in the Philippines. So hindi masasabing kay may dengue ka o wala, hindi ka magkaka-dengue. Pwede ka pa rin magka-dengue kasi pwede ka magkaroon kasi there are four types sa dengue.
But that may be stated, but still, the responsibility to make sure that you come out with a safe vaccine is there. I mean, nobody's saying that you're going to have heaven in dengue vaccine or any vaccine. Important thing is that the people are aware that all efforts were conducted to make that safe and to make it effective. If they do not do that, they will be liable. Yes.
May I just add, may I qualify when I say the vaccine is safe?
Yeah, I thought you would want to qualify that. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Hindi naman safe
the framework of WHO for monitoring safety right now stops at vaccine failure that Dr. Lupisan is pointing out. But the unique thing about the dengue vaccine is there's something beyond failure, and that's disease enhancement. That's the one we don't know about. That's why we have to do more research to find out if the deaths are because of enhancement of the disease or wild-type dengue. So in general, I'd say it's safe, but we are obliged to look for other possible reasons why.
Thank you, Marian. If this happened in India is not going to call on Pittsburgh or anybody else. They're going to rely on their own scientists. And that is my point right now. Sanofi is in everybody's pocket. That means they talk to everybody, they talk to doctors, they talk to our politicians, they talk to everybody. What we need to do is have our own capability. This is one of the points that I want to make in this hearing. Hindi pwedeng aasa tayo sa iba. At kailangan, yung mga nagluluko sa atin, mahuli. Kung hindi, mapapahamak ang ating mata. Nangyari ito dahil kapabayaan at nagmamadali at pag nakakita na ng senyales na kinakausap ng Pangulo, lahat gugupo na tayo. Hindi tama yon. Dapat imbestigahin natin kung saan nangyari yan. At hindi porque may WHO, tama sila. We have to establish our own capability. That's what I say. Even for our military, sinasabi nga, but especially in health. Dapat sa health, meron tayong ang dami natin magagaling na doktor. Narinig nyo sila. Kung ang kulang gamit, then let DOH say, o tayo ng CDC, itong gagamitin natin equipment, kunan natin yan. Hindi yung dakdak tayo ng dakdak, tapos hindi naman tayo, you have to put your money where your mouth is. Kaya nga sabi ko kayo na, 3.5 billion. Abay, madami na mabibiling mga, di ba yung sinasabi niyo pag-aral ng set? Palagi ko makakayanan na yan. At kung hindi natin makaya, magpadala tayo ng doktor doon, at pagbalik dito, alam na nila ang gagawin nila.
Sir, magagawa ng Research Institute for Tropical Medicine yung mga rini-request ng Dengue Investigative Task Force. They can do RT-PCR, they can do virus sequencing if it's vaccine virus or really wild-type virus. They can do this, and they can do the indirect ELISA testing. It's just one test we are missing, which is with Sanofi, that we are requesting.
You know, ma'am, most senators and most congressmen will do it. Kailangan you have to educate us. What you need, kailangan malaman natin. You know, in my lifetime, I have had to experience it. I always look at the science, even on disasters. Even on running an airport, I have to get to the science. And once I learn it, tinuturo namin sa tao yan. Dapat alam ninyo yan. Hindi tayo mangokopya sa iba. Dapat matuto tayo on our own. Gosh, if the Japanese can do it, they were wearing tawag doon, yung mga suit nila nung at the turn of the century. Ngayon, they overtook everybody. I mean, we have to start thinking lofty things. Anyway, we're going to Dr. Legaspi, please. Anyway, kayo papadagdagan ko yung budget nyo kay Senator Pimentel dahil minamadali niya kayo.
No, just to put things in perspective again on a public health level, because all of us here are public servants, I think we should not mix up the urgency to prosecute with the urgency to find the truth. Let us find first what's really happening to these children. Let us make sure that the rest who are not sick don't get very sick, or those who get sick get the proper treatment before we panic with trying to find the evidence that may not even be present at the start to begin with, and try to use this to hasten a process to punish. I think that's where the confusion comes. If maybe we're talking from a scientific point of view and a public health point of view, if we just put things in perspective, if we try to find what's really wrong and to try to prevent what could go wrong, and then when we find all of these things to be related to whatever the problem is, then we have a strong case. So I'd like to ask everyone in power, I think if you want to stop the hysteria, since you have the power, tell everyone to stop talking, including us. I told our team.
And what happens when we stop talking?
No, I mean those about the dengue cases, the dengue vaccine. So what we just want is that let's gather let's regroup, gather our strength and our common message.
Nobody will argue with that.
Yes, sir.
But if nobody talked on this, if we did not find out about this, it would just been shoved under.
No, I'm
the
not.
hysteria happened when Sanofi announced that there was a mistake, that they said that you could have severe dengue. That's when the hysteria happened. And then other people, rightly or wrongly, they started doing autopsies. And I've said it time again here. We want to know what the problem is. We want to fix the problem. We don't want to fix the blame. I've said it time and again. But what is important here is to get to the bottom of this. I think we know already that the procurement process is rotten to the core. Even before this happened, we all know that. But what we need to know is, where is the science? We invite scientists here to tell us and guide us.
Yes.
So we have to know, kung ang science kulang, gagawin natin yan. At kung walang pera, hanapan natin ng pera. Eh, ang bibilis ko mga ng pera eh. 13 billion kagad may ilalabas, pero hindi naman napapakinabangan eh. Alright?
Opo.
So, yun lang.
That's just a point to end it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, last na lang po. Sayang si WHO, he's here already, no? Mr. Whaler, no? So, we take advantage of the time that you are here.
Oh, they will always be here. Don't worry about them.
No, but
it's their duty to be here. World Health Organization is the watchdog of the world. Insofar health is concerned, they do not impose, but they are here to find out what we're trying to find out. Isn't that correct?
Yes, absolutely, Your Honor.
Mr. Weiler?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for giving me the floor. Maybe I can just say that I really appreciate the call for taking this, of course, very serious. We know that panic in itself is never a good advisor, but of course it needs to be taken very serious. We need to have a rational discussion around this, a very honest discussion where nothing is being hidden, but also where we don't exaggerate, and we are fully supportive and working with the Department of Health to have this rational discussion. I think we welcome, of course, the independent investigation. that has been initiated into the cases. We are in contact with the Department of Health to also support that investigation. Secretary Duque has asked us to look at the ability to identify some international experts who can come to the country and who can work with PGH to specifically review the process of looking into the adverse cases. Already I note that the WHO methodology has been applied, which of course we welcome. And we are now working on some experts coming in to sit down with the PGH team and actually look exactly into how this can be done so that we are sure that the review was indeed aligned with the best standards. Also retrospectively look again at the cases and how they were investigated, and also train the team so that this can be done in the future for all the cases that are coming. So, we know what we know so far from the trials, from the data. I think these are important signals, and it's important to investigate them, and we are certainly supporting the Department of Health and Secretary Duque and the independent team to do that. We're also providing some support on the communication side, which of course is really also important to make sure that we get the correct and right level of communication and information to the public, both on the risk, but also what people can do to protect their children. Thank you.
We are going to wrap up now. I just want to point out that there were certain questions that are unanswered, and I will forewarn everybody here about, insofar as the responsibility of procuring the drug, I think we more or less have enough evidence here. So far as procurement is concerned, there are still some loose ends that I would like to ask, but here we're after the science of finding out how we can arrest this possible, as Professor Lansang said, for the next 10 years, you're going to have people who are going to get sick. And the issue is people are going to get sick, but you don't have to introduce something that is not ready and certainly on a mass level. That is where the problem lies. And let me just say to WHO also, and I'm not going to fault them, they are always correct when they say something. It's not totally complete. That's why they said enough, but not enough to go overboard and say there's something wrong here. That is up for everybody to find out. And I just want to say here that Sanofi has been aggressively, all the way, and I say it in no uncertain terms to you, sir, Sanofi has been totally aggressive in their effort to try and sell medicine to what you think is a third world country. That is why we are investigating. Not going to let you get away with it. That's why I advise you, sir, to talk to your principals. I know you do not have the ability to be able to make that decision. I would advise you to tell your clients or to tell your principals that they have done wrong here. And all the evidence shows that you have been actively pursuing our president, actively in conference with our public officials, and in the process, we came out and bought something in an improper way. That is what I see. That's what I say. So I advise you, sir, to consult your people there, because this is not going to go your way. If you think it's going to go away, it's not going to go away. I hope that all the science was done right, but I don't think it did really happen. So, again, the next hearing will be on February 21, 2018. Senator Estrada wants the people who are supposed to be talking a lot, operating a lot, and then talking a lot and causing hysteria. We cannot be hoity-toity here. They still do a function. If you think that PAO, they have intentions that you don't agree with, well, they have the right to do so, because right now, sila lang ang nagpapasingaw sa tao na may ginagawa at nag-a-assuage na mag-aalburuto yung mga tao. Although I do not agree with it, that's what they're doing. Unfortunately, they're not here. So, hindi naman yan ang nag-oopera eh. Scientists ang nag-oopera, mga doktor. Abogado yan eh. So, hindi dapat pupunta dito yan. Pumunta dito yung nag-oopera. At yung mga talagang nagsasalita na, ito, Deng Vaxia. That's irresponsible. Dengvaxia has not been rooted out as the cause. So we have to find out from the scientists, and that's why I urge the Secretary of Health to bring back the trust in the Department of Health and stop this voodoo stuff that you have a magic medicine that can cure it, but then turns out it doesn't happen because your own FDA is not followed. Your own FDA hides the truth. Dr. Benny Ko, I hid it from you. Hid it from FDA that there was such a study. And I will go, the next hearing, you'll have to explain a lot. Ubusan lang tayo ng panahon. Alright? And that note, I thank all of you for coming here. We try to be cogent, and thank you all for coming here. Session is suspended until February 21. Papayag na sasabihin na.